Who doesn't love a good chicken schnitzel? I know I do. I've been playing around with it and I've come up with a new recipe, which is a Dijon and parsley crusted chicken breast. I use a little bit of Parmesan cheese as well. It's really, really tasty, really easy to make, and the family is gonna go crazy for it. This is how you do it. You start off with a little bit of leftover bread. Don't feed it to the ducks. You can turn it into a beautiful crust that is just divine on a schnitzel. Okay, we're gonna serve it with some green beans, red onions, some capers, and some lemon. Okay, we've got the chicken breast here, of course, the Dijon mustard and some Parmesan cheese. The first thing we have to do is make the crust. So I'm gonna take my little blender here, but I'm gonna throw these pieces of bread. Now, if you've got fresh bread or fresh-ish bread, then that's good because you'll get a nice soft crust. If it's old bread or stale bread, it'll just be a little bit drier and crispier, but that's also fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead, give it a good whiz around. Okay, so you've got nice, fine-ish kind of crumbs. Now you could put the cheese and the parsley in with that. I like to mix it separately because otherwise the parsley sends the whole thing green. So I'm just gonna chop the parsley separately. Okay, scoop up that parsley and add that to the crumb. And then I'm gonna grate some Parmesan cheese just straight in there as well. This will just give it a beautiful texture and flavour. Right, take your crust and just mix it all together. Beautiful, and see that little colour that we're getting in there? Now, because I'm not going to season the chicken breasts, what I'm going to do is season the crust. So, some freshly ground black pepper, plenty of it too, a little bit of sea salt, and toss that together. Beautiful. Now, of course, the usual way to get these crumbs to stick to anything is egg and flour. But what we're going to do is something a little different. I've got some Dijon mustard, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush that liberally over the chicken breast. All right, make sure you get every little piece. Then what I do is I just go ahead and pick up one of those chicken breasts and place it right there into the center of my crumbs. And then I brush the other side. Beautiful. Once you've fully brushed the other side, just sort of throw a few of those crumbs on top and then sort of push it down and make sure you really firmly get that crust onto the chicken breast and then bring it back over onto our tray and it's ready to cook. Right, so the chicken's ready to cook, so the last thing we're going to do to the green beans before we throw them into the boiling water is just trim them up, okay? So what I like to do with them is cut them into smaller pieces because we don't want these long beans. We want them to cook quite quickly. And then cut them maybe into 3. Once you've cut all of your green beans, take them over to the boiling water. They're only going to take 2 or 3 minutes before they're just perfectly blanched. Right. In this pan, we want it sort of a medium heat. You don't want it too hot, and you also don't want it too cool. So a little bit of olive oil. If you wanted to cook in butter, you could, but I like the olive oil. I think it gives it a really nice flavour. Move your oil around the pan, and then just give your chicken breast one more shake. So if you're cooking for more people, of course, you'll do this in batches. You can do a couple, pop them on a tray, and then if you need to flash them through the oven, you can do that as well. This is one of those beautiful meals. I mean, we all think of eating a chicken parma, you know, or a chicken schnitzel down at the pub with a big pile of chips, but you can turn it into a really beautiful, fresh meal by using great veggies like those green beans that we've got. You know, even the red onion's a beautiful, fresh ingredient that I just love. And what we're gonna do is slice up the red onion, nice and fine, and we're gonna saute that with the green beans. Right, so once the schnitzel's had just a couple of minutes, depending on your heat, what you're looking for is that you get that nice golden brown colour, just like that. And the same with this one. Right, my green beans are almost there. You want them to be still crunchy, but not to the point of there being a salad. You know, you want them to be just tender. Perfect. So my schnitzels have had a couple of minutes on either side. Don't forget, we just brushed the mustard over the top of this, so it's quite delicate. So if you've got one of these or something that you flip the eggs over with in the morning, that's the tool you want to go for. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just gently remove them, pop them on our board, and then I pop it back onto the heat. It's going to be perfect temperature to go ahead and throw half of my red onion in. All right, so once the red onions have had a couple of minutes to sort of saute and get a little bit of flavour going on, just a little bit of salt, I'm going to take my green beans, add them to the onions. This is looking good. Let's give a little bit of a season, pepper and salt, give it a toss. And then it's time to add the capers, which gives us that nice sort of briny saltiness. And of course that squeeze of lemon. Toss your green beans and you're done. So when it comes to serving the schnitzel, what I like to do is take a sharp knife and sort of cut through it on a bit of an angle. So you get to see right in there to the chicken. And you can take a couple of pieces. Okay. So I'm going to put a couple of slices of this beautiful schnitzel with Dijon and Parmesan, some of these green beans, just off to the side. Delicious. And everybody that you cook this for will thank you. It's really simple, but it's really, really good. I can't wait. Bon appetit.